This is a remarkable day in the history of our great party. I have a speech, but I won't read the speech because I've been given 20 minutes. But I will leave the speech for the sake of record and posterity in this party. We are children of the UGCC. We have forebears. We have a tradition of respect, a tradition for the search for the truth, a tradition for self-emancipation. Men and women who will not tolerate injustice and go sleep. They would rather die. And that's why sometimes it pains me very much when I see signs of injustice in this party. That is not our way. Our founders did not set out to do anybody mafia. They were the custodians of fundamental human rights. Some Ghanaians think that the UGCC leaders did not want independence. Then why did they form the party? They only resisted oppression. They only resisted a monolithic interpretation of politics. All powers in one person's hands. That's what their protest was all about. There was principle attached to what happened. They sought independence. They met in 1947 after a number of other meetings. And in Sorbonne, they drew a constitution for the country. A constitution which contained separation of powers, fundamental human rights, respect for one another. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the last letter Dankwa wrote to Kwame Nkrumah in prison, he told him, Mr. President, I'm a very sick man. I'm advanced in age. I have done nothing wrong to be incarcerated. I ask that you release me to go and spend the rest of my days in my home. I want to remind you, President Nkrumah, how the white man treated us when we were jailed after the 1948 riots. We were given freedom. Even in our containment, we had access to books. Our wives visited us freely. Our family members consulted us on family matters. Our movements were only restricted, but nothing else. Release me before I die over here. If you read the original letter, you may end up in tears. And he reminded that the white man did something different, even when he found it necessary to arrest you. They stood that this should not happen again. So if Dankwa was associated with Ray Akoto, it was because of ideas, beliefs, and values. And I trust that this is going to be the underpinning factor of this institute, that we may know where we are coming from, who we are really, where we are going, and how we should get there, applying the basic principles of the Dankwa Busia Dombo tradition. When elections came and when propaganda became the era of the day, Men like Dankwa suffered greatly because of the propaganda that they were thieves. They had been bribed by the white people, including one person who was brought in, they say, to divert the mind of the people from politics to sports, and so on and so forth. The CPP won the 1951 elections. You know, when people forget about unity in this party, some of us who are relatively old feel very, very pained. In the 1954 election, the idea was to have a last election to determine the party that the colonial authorities should hand power to. You should want to know that in that election, our party, which at that time had transformed into the Ghana Congress Party, GCP, lost every seat. 104 seats, we had only one. Our party has been decimated and dissipated. One, because of the propaganda of the era. That one seat was won by Dr. Kofi Abrefa Busia regarding the Wenchi seat. He beat C.E. Donko with less than 10 votes. The votes were counted 3 times under the supervision of the whites. When Busia got into parliament, one fact of it was that the Northern People's Party, which preferred our tradition and the way we do things, now made Busia rather the leader of the opposition. Busia could not have been leader of the opposition when the Northern People's Party had some 13 members of parliament and he was alone. Shall we be able to do this? But today you can see all manner of bickering, all manner of struggles, all manner of unexpected activities. But one man was honorable enough to say, I will prefer that you are the leader and I will be the deputy leader. So he determined who should be the leader. And he gave a reason, because of the knowledge and experience of the man. How many of us will be able to say this today? How many of us will be able to say this today? If not, if we are not many who will be able to say it, then may the institute long flourish, and may it teach us throughout the years to come how we should go our way as members of the new patriotic party. You know what? We stand for something. We stand for what they believed at that time: knowledge is power. That this country must be governed by men and women trained, qualified to lead a nation. Our former president Kufuor is here. In 1992, he was a contestant regarding the flag bearership. When honorable members who had been to parliament before and others lost, they all really went around with Professor Oquaye. I was there. I saw with my eyes the spirit of respect and cooperation among all of them, like Dankwa and Busia and Dombo did. Throughout the campaign, nobody said anything untoward about anybody. I can assure you. And they went about telling us delegates. I was a delegate, as secretary of Greater Accra. I was the first secretary of Greater Accra in the party. Those were honorable men, honorable men. One of them is sitting there with honor as our former president. We all learned from this. And I remember carefully when President Kufuor was about to leave office in dignity and honor, and we had our Congress in 2007 in Legon, we followed that style. When we went around the country, we followed that style. Everybody, President Kufuor, Honorable Hakmawusu Ajiman, there seated. I was a contestant who lost. We all went on one tangent. What will I do if fortune should smile on me and I should be elected? And what have I done before? I am praying all persons who are possible aspirants, let us be as the old patriotic people did. Tell everybody what you yourself you have done in your life before, what you have done in the party, and what you will do for Ghana if you should have the luck of being elected presidential candidate of the NPP. If we should do that, this party will be successful. I want to remind you finally about the cost of this unity. The cost of this unity. Our party in the year 1979, when we had the elections that brought Liman of the PMP to power, was divided into PFP and UNC. I wrote a book on this. You only have to do JSS arithmetic and put the figures together, and you will have realized that the election was cold chop for the Dankwa Busia tradition, but we decided to fight among ourselves and we lost the election. Anyone who pursues the pathway of division is not working in the interest of the party, and he must be excused. Anybody, anytime, without reference to anyone, any man or woman, now or forever, who works against that established principle will not be doing us any good. And we lost. It changed the history of Ghana. Brothers and sisters of the elephant, we have come to a certain crossroad by the opening of this institute. We must learn, and that will help us a lot. There must also be what was before, party in partnership with government. I've gone about this matter when once I sought to be national chairman, when I also sought to be a presidential candidate. It is of great value to me. Party in partnership with government. There must be a symbiotic relationship between our party, which is the mother of the government, at all given times. You will remember that when we lost the 1992 election, one thing we did was we formed committees. Those party committees we came to describe as opposition outside parliament. We did not go to parliament, but we formed our own parliamentary committees outside parliament. I don't know how many people have copies of that. This morning I showed my copy, a copy to Honorable Hakmawusu Ajiman. He says, let me keep it and make a photocopy and bring it back to you. His name was there. All the names were there. Honorable Hakmawusu Ajiman, The president, the former president now seated before us, who was a member of the political committee and chairman of another committee. All these committees were the reason for our winning power in the year 2000. Because there were these men who also, under the leadership of the Honorable J.H. Mensah in Parliament, who were working still with the knowledgeable people outside Parliament in various committees. Mr. Secretary General of the party, this is the blueprint. I will present it to you today. Make sure this principle is sustained forever. Always a committee of the party, the mother of any government that we shall ever have. The men and women who are prepared and ready and able to play roles in any of these, we will have to bring them on board to work with the parliamentary committees. I trust that Honorable Afreja Mwakin will deserve a copy, and that will be presented also to him. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, this tradition is a noble tradition. This is a tradition fashioned on principle. This is a tradition founded on the ideas, beliefs, and values of those people who founded Ghana. We are beneficiaries, and we must hold dear the principles that form this institute that today we have the privilege to open. I thank you very much for your attention and wish you all well.
Citizen TV, Accra, Ghana. Citizen TV, the citizen's power.